Hello again! About a month ago, I put out a poll that asked if I were to hypothetically redesign the characters from My Little Pony, should I redesign their pony forms or human forms? The human forms won by a landslide, so today, that's exactly what I'm going to do. For some quick background, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is the fourth generation of the My Little Pony franchise. With the first episode airing in October of 2010, the series quickly gained a lot of attention and was super popular. After 3 whole seasons and 1 alicorn transformation later, in 2013, the first movie of this generation was released. Movies have always been an integral part of the My Little Pony franchise, but the unique thing about this movie was that it showed human counterparts of the main 6. When the movie first came out, I remember thinking the designs for the human characters were pretty cool. But for the record, I was like 9 or 10. Now when I look at them, I see a lot of missed potential. It's very clear these designs were mainly made to sell toys, which, to be honest, has been the whole point of My Little Pony from the beginning. But even looking at the dolls, I'll just say that I think they could have gone in a different direction. I know I'm not the only one that feels this way though. Human redesigns of the My Little Pony characters are super popular on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, or any other social media platform where you can post art. I love seeing others' interpretations of all of these characters. There are so many unique designs that I have seen by insanely talented artists. For my take, I really wanted to focus on redesigning and even rewriting elements from the movie Equestria Girls. In the original movie, the main 6 are high schoolers. I kind of always thought that this was a bit strange since I interpreted the characters as being young adults. Multiple characters own businesses, and all but Applejack live separately from their family. Those who interpret the cast as being in high school point to Twilight being a student of Celestia's, but I always thought Twilight was a student like how people are students in college, or even how someone can be considered a mentee or be studying their master's. Either way, all this is to say that in my version, they are no longer in high school. But if they're no longer high school students, what are they? To answer this question, let's get into our first character. It's not a surprise that I'm starting this lineup with Twilight Sparkle herself. In the original Equestria Girls movie, she's the main character, and we follow her as she makes her way throughout Canterlot High. Speaking of the movie, I want to critique the original human designs in this video as well. As I stated in the intro, the designs aren't horrible, but there's a lot of wasted potential. With Twilight, I honestly can't hate it. All of the girls seem to be forced into either a dress or a skirt, most likely for toy purposes. But I think what we have isn't terrible. Not great, but I don't hate it. I like the nods to a bit more academic aesthetic and the overall silhouette. But let's address the purple elephant in the room, which is the fact that her skin is purple. Not only is her skin purple, but it's a lighter shade of purple than her pony form. So, why? I don't understand why literally all of the characters are lightened, and I really hate the implications of this. I mean, the most egregious example is Luna. This is completely unnecessary. As far as just making their skin the same color as their coat, I can understand doing this to avoid some controversy and arguments amongst the fans, but I will not be doing that with my design because I don't really care if someone doesn't like it. At the end of the day, this is my interpretation of the characters, and if someone doesn't agree, then they can make their own designs. Anyways, all this is to say that my Twilight design went through some major changes. I mainly focused on making her look way more academic, as well as darkening her overall color palette. I really liked the idea of adding more warmer browns, as well as mainly using darker purples. She's also not purple anymore, and I also decided to give her a wand that replicates her horn, as well as pointy ears. So, for my designs, I really wanted to figure out a way to incorporate elements of unicorn and pegasi in the human forms. In the original movie, magic is a very rare resource, usually a symptom of the pony world bleeding into the human world. While I like this idea, I think the addition of magic would make sense. Also, I don't think giving a couple of the humans wands or wings is that weird, considering the original designs had rainbow skin. I also do realize that I didn't give her wings, but let's say for this design, she's not an alicorn quite yet, okay? No one think too hard about it. My version of Twilight would still be a student of Celestia, but I imagine she would either be in a master's program or would be doing like some sort of internship or field studies project, making her be in her early or mid-20s. I feel like Twilight's excitement to learn is a very integral part of her character in the early seasons, so keeping her a student of some sort as an adult felt right. Overall, I feel that my iteration of her fits her character, as well as takes elements from her Equestria Girls design and improves them. Pinkie Pie was always my favorite of the main 6 as a kid. Pinkie is fun-loving, eccentric, excitable, and honestly hard to put in a box. I struggled a bit with her design, mainly because I just didn't know what I wanted her to look like. I had a couple of ideas, but what helped me a little was to think about the style I was using. I really tried my best to take style cues from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, though transitioning pony to human isn't one-to-one. The main things I was able to take from the original style were the eye shapes and the hair. Other than that, I really had to go with my gut. For animation purposes, I didn't want to overload any design, which I especially had to keep in mind with Pinkie. I had to figure out a way to make smart design choices without getting too detailed. For her design, I knew I wanted an outfit with layers and some fun accessories. Beaded bracelets and necklaces were an obvious choice, as well as some hair clips. I was even able to sneak in her cutie mark, which I tried to do with all of my designs. I also really love how the shape of her pants give her legs a kind of horse hoof look. I tried to make her look like she would go to a party at any moment, but didn't want to make her everyday outfit look too eccentric. As a human, I imagine Pinkie would still be a party planner and help out at the Cakes Bakery, but I also think it would be super funny if she got like a ton of part-time jobs all the time, like Trish from Austin and Ally. Pinkie wants to try everything all the time, and I could see her jumping from career to career. While I do think my Pinkie design could have a lot more going on, I think this is a good overall look that focuses both on her character and how she has to be animated. Out of all of the characters in Equestria Girls, Rainbow Dash's design was always the one I had an issue with, because who in the world made her wear a skirt? I get that she is wearing shorts underneath, but this is really where it becomes obvious that these designs were just meant to push dolls to kids. This phenomenon where all girl dolls had to be in skirts or dresses was super prevalent during this time too, with brands like Monster High and Ever After High rarely putting their dolls in pants or shorts. I'm not sure why this was so important to toy companies, because the newest generation of Monster High has much more clothing diversity, and I still think it sells well. I guess they equated dresses and skirts to little girls liking the toys. Either way, my first plan of action was to get Rainbow Dash out of that skirt. For my take on Rainbow Dash, I imagined that she would be some sort of professional athlete. In the original movie, she played soccer, but in my opinion, Rainbow Dash seems like a track star. But with her wings, I'm not sure if that would be the sport she would turn to. I imagine this world would have a sport similar to track, but for flying. I wanted her design to reflect this. I put her in something more athletic, and also decided to put her hair up into a ponytail, since nothing is more annoying than hair being in your face when you are trying to do something athletic. I tried to stick to primary colors for everything except her hair, because I didn't want her to look too cluttered. I think this is the right move, and cleanly gets across the idea of Rainbow Dash while not overwhelming the viewers or the animators with a whole bunch of different colors. Overall, I thought this really paid off, and I think this design gives her a far more sporty look. Next is the fashion icon herself, Rarity. For her Equestria Girls design, there's really nothing that sticks out to me, good or bad, but this is why it makes her disappointing. Rarity is supposed to be a fashionista. She runs her own boutique, is constantly researching and making outfits, and is always on trend. To make her human design so plain and boring is doing such a disservice to her character. I assume that the reason she looks like this is because, once again, a simpler design like this is easier to animate as well as easier to make into a doll. I understand, but you can still have a design that is both eye-catching and easy to animate. So, with my design, I kept animation in mind while trying to figure out an outfit for Rarity. Focusing on my limitations and medium pushed me to really think through my process. I wanted her to look sleek, polished, and stylish. I actually gave her a bit of a shorter haircut just because I felt like it looked chic. I utilized this argyle pattern on her top to call back to her cutie mark, as well as a hair clip that resembled a gem. I think the outfit isn't too flashy, but it is definitely giving more than just the white shirt and basic skirt that she has on in the original design. In this world, I imagine she would hold the same job that she does in Ponyville, which is owning her own boutique and making clothes for people. I still think she would have dreams about moving to Canterlot and becoming a well-known name in the fashion world, and is actively working towards that. She's a fashionista, but also a successful businesswoman. I think my design gives Rarity a little more style while keeping in mind the medium of the movie. Next up, Applejack. Yet another character I have to wonder why they put in a skirt. At least it's a jean skirt, but this girl is a farmer. She's not going to wear a skirt while she's doing her farm chores. In hindsight, choices like this just really look ridiculous. Another decision that I think could have been improved was her body type. Being a farmer, you have to assume that she would have some muscle to her. I understand that making all the girls look the exact same was, let's say it again, easier on animation and making toys. But in situations like this, it doesn't make sense. It also makes things boring and so cookie cutter. Not to call back to the newest Monster High line, but this series shows that you can have both body diversity and toys that people actually want to buy. So, for my version of Applejack, she has broad shoulders and thicker arms and legs to help enforce the idea that she is a farmer and doing manual labor. In this version, I think she has the same job as in Ponyville, which is tending to the apple family farm. I think she would also have a lot of control over selling apples to stores, as well as coming up with products to boost sales. She's a natural businesswoman, similar to Rarity. Along with giving her a pair of pants, I decided to give her a Western-style button-up as well as some accessories, like her apple belt buckle and her little kerchief around her neck. I of course had to keep her cowboy boots and her iconic hat. This design was probably the easiest for me to come up with because I did want to give her that stereotypical country girl farmer look with just a bit of flair. While I think she looked country-ish before, I think this design really solidifies that she is a farmer and a really hard worker. Last, but not least of the main six is Fluttershy. In her Equestria Girls design, I feel that her timid personality as well as her affinity to nature comes off decently well. But as always, it can be improved. There was nothing about this design that frustrated me, but I do think it is a little plain. I like the color palette that was chosen, but I feel like she has less going on with her outfit than all the other characters. Fluttershy also has a design choice that is seen with a couple other of the characters, which is the choice to just slap her cutie mark onto her skirt with no other patterning. I understand that the skirt is on the same part of the body as the cutie marks are in their pony forms, but it reminds me of poodle skirts from the 50s, so that makes this design choice feel really dated. I had already been putting the characters' cutie marks on their design somewhere, but I really wanted to try and find a way to get a little more creative with it. So in this design, I gave Fluttershy a very subtle butterfly pattern on the sleeves and hem of her cardigan. While it's a little less apparent than my other designs, I think it's a unique choice that still works well. As for the rest of her design, I chose to keep her clothes looking loose and comfortable. While she works with animals, Fluttershy is a real home buddy. I took inspiration from some cottagecore and boho fashion since both are inspired by nature. Along with her cardigan, I gave her a long skirt with a lacy top. I also gave Fluttershy a bandana to really solidify what styles I was taking inspiration from. She also has wings similar to her pony design. For her career path in this world, I think she would rehabilitate and foster animals out of her own home. Her love for animals is very important to her character overall, and I think a large part of her job would be taking in animals that are harder to help, while also finding good homes for strays. While she may seem frail and feeble, this part of her character shows that she has a real iron will and a kind heart. Overall, I really like how my design came out, and I feel like she looks very kind and caring. Finally, and maybe surprisingly, I decided to also make a design for Sunset Shimmer. I did say that my favorite of the main 6 was Pinkie Pie, but out of all of the characters in the movie, Sunset Shimmer has been and always will be my favorite. I think her character arc is really intriguing between the first and second movie, her design is really striking, and her personality is very fun. In the first movie, she is the main antagonist, but she soon sees the error of her ways and is forgiven by the main girls. In the second movie, I really enjoy her character post-Reformation. I think this is the reason I personally have always preferred the second movie to the first. Speaking of the other movies, in the third movie, Sunset's color palette changes. She goes from wearing more oranges and fuchsias to wearing a lot of blues and yellows. I think this is really good at showing how she is post-Reformation, and I wanted to use it in my design. Now, since the characters in my version are no longer in high school, I think Sunset was originally a part of the same study program that Twilight participated in. She was eventually kicked out, and since then has been seeking revenge. She has been studying magic on her own terms, and eventually found a way to open a portal to the pony realm. There, I imagined she would come into contact with an element of harmony, stealing it for herself. And then chaos ensues. I went back and forth between my Sunset being from the human world or the pony world, and while I don't think my version is perfect, I think the switch up isn't half bad. For my design, I think she looks a little simple, but overall still has that cool girl look I really wanted to keep. Her jeans and t-shirt are that blue color I was talking about, but she still sports a leather jacket and some boots. She's tough, but her color palette isn't too fierce. I also gave her a bolo tie that looks like her cutie mark, which I think is a really cool touch. I may be biased, but I think this design is my favorite. I've been wanting to redesign the Equestria Girls for a while now, and I'm so glad I finally took the plunge and did it. Making several designs for one video definitely was not the easiest thing in the world, but I'm satisfied with the results and I'm happy I completed them. I thought this was a great exercise in trying to match a style and making designs for a specific medium. Overall, I thought this was a ton of fun. Please let me know who your favorite design is in this video. I also have some ideas when it comes to redesigning the ponies themselves. So if that sounds interesting as well, please let me know. If you like this video and want to see more from me, please don't forget to subscribe. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!